So after 2 years on the Africa Twin and 3 years on the Honda 650L, both kitted for trail, heavy tires, appropriate tires, etc., I found that after a year of riding each of them, I could conquer this trail. But it required a significant amount of emotional and psychic burden, as I've mentioned before. And you have to gear up and, all this stuff. Boots, helmet, that whole thing, which is necessary, I understand. But, when I come out here, I'm really not concerned about what I'm wearing. I'm concerned about being here and enjoying this location. And motor vehicles are my chosen way to get here. And they should be. But the whole point is that the market does not have something that can take you from your home to the street, to the trail, and back safely and comfortably. They just don't. We make it up. We tell ourselves the lies, but it's not true. It's just not true. The quad is the safest, most reliable on the trail, and maybe a side-by-side, but I don't like side-by-side. This gives you like the riding the horse experience, which is really intimate, and you get decisions like you get to choose your line and you get to choose when to slow down and what trail to take, and the feeling of independence is really what separates the quad from the side-by-side, because you have a driver and a passenger, and you're either one of those, and I am definitely a driver experience. And the quad allows you to carry all your stuff, and it's very capable, and I'm not trying to, re-describe the wheel, but I'm just saying this is the preferred, safest method. But I think there's room in the market for an improvement. I know there's room, and I know there's technical issues to be overcome, but they're really not issues. They're just a matter of creativity and determination and resources. So this is kind of my opening salvo in this. We need to get more people outside, and one of the ways we can do that is to make vehicles that are safe, capable, and fun. I think that's very important. So anyway, from the trail, signing off. It's so pretty, I thought I'd show a moment. I'll probably edit it out, but anyway. Next stage would be an electric quad with no noise. Anyway, I'll give you a little ride here. Let's see. Yeehaw. Easy peasy. Okay, this is a master's level hill on a dirt bike or an adventure bike. I know people who have dumped bikes on this hill. This is not, and this is something you gotta prepare for. Even if you're an expert rider, you gotta at least plan and navigate for this. Look at the slope we're on here. So there are the trees. Here's us, and there's the slope. Now, what makes it difficult is this ravine here. So if you ride a bike, you go up here. You got to make sure you can pop over that before you jump in, and you got to make sure you have enough momentum to do it. And if you take the ravine up, you got to make sure that you're not spinning your rear tires, getting enough momentum to go up. Now, this is not like an expert will go right up this hill, but an average person who has a year or two of dirt bike riding will still be thinking, I might dump it on this. And what an imposition that is on the outdoor experience. And I'm going to show you how the quad will just go, I'm going to drive it one-handed because I got the camera on it, how the quad will just go right up this. And again, I'm not arguing for how awesome the quad is. I'm just saying that the concept is to make it easy so that we don't have to put our lives on the line to explore these areas. Now you can hike it, of course, but you know, that's another separate. So here, let's see. Okay, I'm at such a steep angle. I've got to. So when I let the brake off, you know, I got to put my foot brake on. All right, now let's go. Oh, got to put it in gear. Do that on a bike. Gun the gear and not having a brake, and you lose your footing, you slide right back. And this slope is steep enough that your rear brake might not keep you in place. And your front brake certainly won't. Yeah, that's another issue. Anyway. I gotta reposition. All right, right? Okay, so we just crawled right up that four-wheel drive. Look. One-handed, no problem. Keep going. See that? See that black there? That black is from guys running the bikes up it and spinning the wheels, trying to get traction up this. That's how severe it is. That's how much of an imposition it is. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so we're just gonna crawl right over it. Done. And I would like to say we went up that at about 2-3 miles an hour, like no big deal. And that means that you're not gunning it, you know, you're not risking that momentum crisis. You know, that's another thing on a one drive wheel cycle, motorcycle, adventure bike, dirt bike, whatever, is that you've got to get enough momentum and you got to keep that momentum going. Otherwise, you know, you're toast, especially in hills like this. Look at this one. You see that ridge line, that ridge right there? The ridge of death. That's just crap for a dirt bike. Right? In fact, I might have to use two hands on this one. See how severe that is? Oh, I'm getting a little goosey here. Let's see. But even, you see, with the two wheels, you'd be down and out in the ditch, or you'd be up here. You know, it'd be up here at risk of falling in. See, even if you get up there, if you spin your rear wheel, you're going to slide in. Ask me how I know. So now with the quad, you see, even though I have two wheels on the high end and then two wheels on the low, and I'm slight danger for tipping over, it's not catastrophic. I can put the parking brake on it and walk away and restart, like, well, in fact, like I'm doing now. So let's see if I can do it now. Dude, see, I'm getting right into it. See that? Let's see. Here, I think I'll put this down for a second. Here, let's see here. I'll have to use, to be smart, I'll use 2 hands on this. Right, it just, I probably could have kept going, but I prefer safety as opposed to bravado. As you can see, I've got got one wheel there, one wheel there. You know, we're still here. You know, I can still touch off. But the point is, we're not at the point of catastrophic failure, and this is still fun. This is still acceptable danger to me. I mean, I'm experienced doing this, and I'm not advocating this for everyone. I'm just saying that, you know, the more wheels you put to the dirt, the more control you have. Duh. But that means that you get to enjoy yourself as opposed to, you know, being terrified by a hill. I mean, this is, you know, if you're coming along here and you want to get to the top, this 300-foot hill is not going to let you. So a lot of people will just never get up here. They'll just turn around. They'll never even try it. So I think the next goal would be to have a vehicle that does this easily, like a quad. All right, so let's see. I'm now going to transition. Oh, Mom. No, Mom. Challenge is hanging on to the quad, not so much worrying about whether the quad's going to flip over. And that is the center of balance and traction that you know, needs to be replicated in some other vehicle. Dude. So much fun. So now I've gone over the hill and continued on the trail, and now I'm back to my adventure, and I haven't risked life and limb. You know, I'm like not traumatized from the injury, or from the potential injury, and you know, the loss of my, you know, scratching my $10,000-$20,000 bike or whatever. And oh, dude, look at this. This is so cool. Oh, so nice. Look at this. Nice little blend. Oh, beautiful. Nice. This is, boy, if I was a deer, I'd eat this grass. It's so nice and rich. Anyway, all right, I'll give you a few more feet of, a little more trail here. And you see, I'm going like 15 miles an hour now. Super easy, super confident, super fun. Just putting through the forest, you know. If I had a horse and I could afford a horse, I would do it. But this is the next best. And I think everyone should have this opportunity, some experience like this. Dude, so much fun. Beautiful out here. Pretty tricky. Aside from being beautiful, I was going to show this trail because I've taken this on the 650L through this part. So as a skilled rider, you can do it. See all this crap rock, you know. You can do it, but it's not fun. I'll show you where I had to turn around. just for reference, that's the real turd hole right there. Right there, coming around that. See all these rocks here? All those chunka. Get the rear wheel going. You don't really have traction. You're kind of negotiating momentum versus a little bit of traction. You got to keep moving. Because if you stop on that, well, yeah, you can get going again, but dude, suck fest. This is actually the easy part of the dirt bike. This part right here. But you see here, you've got to have momentum to get up this. Yeah, and this is where I crapped out on 650L right here. And I probably could have kept going, but it was one of those discretion is a better part of valor situations. But I wanted to explore the rest of the trail, and you know, I think that with a quad, obviously you can do it pretty easily, but as you know, I think there's room for improvement. It's so beautiful out here, huh? Look at this. All right, let's go. Dude, I hope you can see that. It's just so gorgeous up here. Just so gorgeous. That's what we came up. Yeah. Oh, so pretty. Probably getting tired of me saying that, but it's so true. And that's one of the reasons to come out. Wow, look at that. Look at that. And any other way to get here is virtually, I mean, you can get here by hiking and mountain biking, but you are committed, brother, to come up here. And you got to be super fit. Not just to get to where we're going, but to be fit to get where you're going and then come back safely. And that's why I think motor vehicles have a time and place, particularly on a trail like this, which is pretty, I mean, it's pretty big and it's all chewed up. That's not fun mountain biking. That's fun to go down, but not so much fun to go up. Dude, look at that. So pretty. All right, till next time. To be here is such a beautiful experience. I wish more people could have it. But I've been here several times, and I will tell you, it takes a lot of effort. And in fact, it almost takes a lifestyle choice to be here. I'm several miles from town. I have to get here. Let's talk about how to get here. I could hike here. I would have to be really quite a fit hiker. I've come up like 1,500 feet. Down in the lower portions, it's like 85 degrees. It's like 75 up here now. I can hear the rustling of the wind. I can smell the forest. We're in relatively remote area, not geographically remote, but remote enough that not many people come here. And while that rarefied experience is beautiful, it's also exclusive. And I'm not bragging. I'm just saying that to be here requires a lot of effort. It's worth it, but it shouldn't require this much effort. And people are going to be thinking about like, oh, I'm complaining, but really it's a thing. So I came here on the quad today. I used the minivan, the trailer, and the quad. The minivan takes up a full-size parking space in the garage. The quad takes up the other space, and the trailer, which is a special folding trailer, takes up the other space. So my whole garage is dedicated to vehicles to get me to this point. It's too much. I shouldn't have to pay. I mean, it's an old minivan, it's an old quad, it's an old trailer. This is not an exclusive discussion. I'm talking about literally tens of thousands of dollars of equipment to get here. Not mentioning licensing, insurance, the maintenance issues, and just loading up. So you have to, take the minivan out. You have to load up get the trailer connected, load the quad on the trailer. You've got to get all your gear together, food and water and safety kit and all this stuff. And then you got to know where you're going. The weather's got to cooperate. You got to have parking at the trailhead. You got to be able to park where you want to park. So that means you have to have some knowledge of where you're going. You have to have been there before. Even if you have a truck, you put the quad in the back of the truck, you got to ramp the quad up in the back of the truck. And that's a whole thing. When I had the Tundra, I had to take the tailgate out, a 6-foot bed, put the thing in, put the quad in, and that's a whole, you got to practice it. You got the ramps in there. You got to tie the ramps in. Then you got to, unload it at the trail site. You got to worry about at the trail site whether someone's going to take the ramps out of the back of your truck. You can put them in the truck. It's this whole thing. And again, I'm not complaining. I'm very fortunate to have done this, but I think we can improve upon this. I plan to make some improvements. And one of the things is to have a vehicle that can go from the garage to the road to here and not being a life-threatening situation. Now, to those people who say, well, a dirt bike can do it, I'd be like, yeah, but it's life-threatening. I'll just tell you right now, it's a life-threatening experience. And either on the road, because of the idiot drivers, everyone's on their phone nowadays. And I can't really remove that risk factor. But, a more stable motor vehicle on the road will be improved safety, like duh. And then a safer, more stable vehicle on the trail will, of course, increase safety and make this much more accessible. I run out of my trail of thoughts. But my point is that, and the alternatives. Okay, let's say I have a side-by-side. Well, the side-by-side takes up even more space. It's even more expensive. I have to have a bigger trailer, even more insurance. And quite frankly, the side-by-side will get me here, but through an alternate route. And the side-by-sides don't give you that intimate trail experience. As I mentioned before, the quad gives you an intimate, like I am here by myself. And even if I had a buddy on the back or he or she had another one, it's a different experience. It's more like riding the horse as opposed to, being a passenger in the wagon, for lack of a better word. They're wider, they're heavier, they're lovely, they're great. And there's some places they can go that the quad can't, or the vehicle I'm thinking of would not be able to. But the point is to have an intimate, safe, comfortable road and trail experience. So yeah, side-by-side could come out here, but the dollar figures for the side-by-side, dude, 20 to 30 grand for the side-by-side, 5 to 7 or 10 grand for the trailer, depending. Insurance, you got to have a truck to pull it. That is not a casual truck. I don't even think my Tundra would be rated. Maybe it would be rated to have that. Yeah, I think like an F-150, but you'd be really close to your towing limit with some of these side by sides. And then you got to have a place to park it. And the truck and the trailer, and then the space to pull the side by side off the trailer, you got to have another 20 feet, maybe 30 feet. It's a very specialized thing, and that's why people who do it they're so committed, because they have to be committed. And I think that's, I mean, it's good, it's great, but it's definitely a lifestyle choice. Like, you've got to have 3 parking spaces for the truck, the trailer, and the side-by-side. And God forbid you live in an HOA community where you can't have a trailer outside. That means you got to have a storage unit, blah, 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 blah. So let's say I wanted to get here on the mountain bike. Well, on the mountain bike, I still have to throw the bike in whatever vehicle, get to the trailhead, and, as I said, I did 1,500 feet today over a space of like 6 miles. That is a very significant mountain bike hike, run. And that's lovely and it's great. But, there's safety concerns if I bonk, on the way up. That's very unpleasant and borderline unsafe. And you'd have to plan for this. This experience here is a peak mountain bike experience. Like, the average Joe, after 6 months of training, can maybe do it. And you'd probably want to do it with a buddy. And that's not bragging or anything. That's just saying that it's a major commitment, and it's a time commitment. To get here on mountain bike would be like a 4 to 5 hour round trip, not including the time in the car. So, and let's imagine if I was to get here just by foot. Well, it'd be even more time. And it's still lovely. It's awesome. But on foot, I don't have the safety features that I would have with the quad or the mountain bike or the side-by-side. The ability to hurt myself, twist my ankle, whatever, and hop on the quad or side-by-side and, drive myself out. These sound like extreme circumstances, but they're really not. I mean, with these rocks, it's very easy to twist an ankle. Like, it's not a big deal. And and the other issue is, if I came up here with a truck, well, the truck does have a backdoor access to this, and that is a very nice option. It's very, very doable. But the Tundra in stock form would make it here pretty easily. But most people don't do it because you get scratches on the side of your truck, because you're on a narrow road, and some access points are more than people are willing to risk their vehicle on. I mean, if you spend 60 to 80 to 100 grand on a Jeep Gladiator or a Tundra or a Tacoma, the last thing you want to do is rub it have the branches scratch the paint off, or God forbid, scratch up your rims or something like that. So I'm just saying that while it doesn't seem like a peak experience here, it really is. And one of my goals is to make this more accessible, more readily. And I have some ideas. And, I think it's just inexcusable that as a society we don't have more stable off-road, more capable off-road machines. It's just I think it's unacceptable. And further more acceptable is that people don't seem to be so interested in making them that could come out here and do this safely and easily, et cetera, et cetera. So I hope to turn that tide a little bit so that this beautiful experience could be more readily available to those who seek it. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a lifestyle choice. And it doesn't have to involve tens upon tens of thousands of dollars. And you don't have to like argue with your spouse over what part of the garage gets donated or given to the vehicle that only gets used every few days or weeks because it's such a time commitment to take it out. I mean, that really happens. I live in a planned community where everyone has a two or three car garage, and there's just very few of them actually get outdoors. And I'm sure part of it is access, and access means reasonable access. What retiree has a budget for an off-road vehicle that will take them out here? I mean, some do, and they make it, but it's a lifestyle commitment. And I think it's egregious that we have to, decide between, making rent and getting outside, because getting outside is one of the things that keeps us alive, keeps me alive. And I would make the argument that getting outside and doing this stuff is probably one of the best therapeutical things you could do. I mean, like, you could take a trip to the doctor and get a checkup, or you could do this. And I think your health would be far better doing this. And you're going to be far healthier and more robust. And you shouldn't have to train for 6 months to a year to be able to come out here. It really shouldn't be that big of a deal. And no, I'm not advocating for building, paving roads out to these places. I'm advocating for smarter vehicles that make these things more accessible. And, as I said before, it's not a lifestyle choice. It's a vehicle choice. And, anyway, I've said my piece on that. The other way to get out here is helicopter. I know, but it is another way. It is another way. When I think about these things, I think globally, and if we could afford helicopters, it'd be great to come out here. But that is not reasonable. That is not reasonable. It'd be the better part of $10,000 to be dropped here, and that's probably not even including being picked up. So these are important concepts that I treat seriously, even though I speak about it in a joking manner. We do not get out enough. We do not get out enough. And walking around the asphalted cement sidewalks doesn't count. Doesn't count. You got to get into this stuff. You got to get into the shit. You got to be in here. You got to feel this. The unique balance of the air, the UV, whatever infrared I'm getting, whatever solar rays I'm getting here, whatever air is here, whatever the bees are buzzing on, whatever the elk are eating and the deer, whatever it is, we need to experience that. And in a way that is not relatively non-destructive and doesn't interrupt the wildlife very much. And my point is that nature is the epitome and one of the peak life experiences. And it doesn't have to be remote. You don't have to go 100 miles away. But I realize that some people in cities have to drive more than 100 miles to experience this. And, that's a societal decision. I think that we've turned the wrong way. I think that we should have more wild nature closer to more people. Therefore, we will be more sane and healthier. And I don't even think it's a point of discussion. I think everyone would say, yeah, that's a good idea. In the same breath, everyone's planning, to have, the standard suburban home, covered, accessed by asphalt only. But I'm not advocating a total societal change, but a heart change first, a culture change. Make this part of life. And one of the things I plan to do is to make vehicles make vehicles that can access this without it being such a tremendous burden. All right. Well, rather than keep repeating the point, I'm going to turn off, sign out, and let these points hit home. And I encourage you to think about these things after the video. Think about making wild nature a part of your life. And some people just think of it so casually because I think they just don't even think it's attainable. But maybe it's probably like the best investment you can make. Skip the fancy house and get someplace close to wild nature. All right. Take care.